Picture your grandfather's bathroom counter in 1955. A chrome razor, a glass bottle of Vitalis, and sitting right next to the soap dish, a little device with two metal prongs that promised to cure his backache, his nerves, and maybe even his marriage problems. That device would get him arrested today. Number 8 on this list was sold in toy stores. Number 3 killed people in their own kitchens. And number 1 was handed to American children as a treat. Stay with me, because some of these came out of garages in Ohio, some came out of the finest labs in the country, and every single one felt perfectly normal the morning it arrived on your doorstep. Number 10. The home electroshock therapy belt. In 1952, you could order a device through the Sears catalog that sent low-voltage electrical current through your body. It was marketed for arthritis, for fatigue, for nervous conditions. The ad showed smiling housewives holding the padded electrodes against their temples like they were applying cold cream. Doctors didn't prescribe it. Nobody regulated it. You just plugged it in. Some users experienced burns or other issues. The FDA began cracking down in the early 1960s. By 1968, unregulated home shock devices were effectively banned without medical supervision. The Sears catalog moved on. Nobody sent a warning letter. Number 9. DDT wallpaper. This is the one that gets people. In the early 1950s, you could buy wallpaper pre-infused with DDT for the children's bedroom, butterflies and ducks printed right over the pesticide. The idea was that the walls themselves would kill mosquitoes and flies. The kids who grew up in those rooms are in their 70s now. Some of them remember the smell of faint chemical sweetness they always thought was just new house. DDT was banned in the U.S. in 1972. Decades of studies linked it to cancer. Number 8. Radioactive health tonic. Radithor. You need to know this name. In the 1920s it started, but it was still being found in American medicine cabinets deep into the 1950s. A small glass vial of radium dissolved in water. You drank it. For energy. For virility. For what the label called perpetual sunshine. A socialite named Eben Byers drank nearly 1,400 bottles. His jaw fell off. The FDA banned radium-based tonics, but the cultural hangover, the American belief that radiation was good for you, that lasted well into the 50s. Uranium-glazed dishes. Radium face cream. The decade glowed, and not in a good way. Number 7. The cigarette with fiberglass filters. Kent brand cigarettes launched the Micronite filter in 1952. The ads called it the greatest health protection in cigarette history. Doctors endorsed it. Later it was discovered that the Micronite filter was made of crocidolite asbestos. The asbestos element was quietly removed in 1956, but the cigarettes kept selling for a time. Number 6. Thalidomide sleep aids. By 1957 in West Germany, and spreading fast across Europe and into American gray markets by the early 60s, thalidomide was the sleeping pill young mothers were given for morning sickness. It worked beautifully for sleep. And then the babies were born. More than 10,000 children worldwide were born with missing or shortened limbs. The United States was largely spared because one FDA reviewer, a woman named Frances Kelsey, refused to approve it despite enormous pressure from the manufacturer. She held the line alone. Thalidomide is now tightly controlled, used carefully for specific cancers. But in the 1950s version of America, it was a bedtime pill. And the people who trusted it paid for that trust with their children. Number 5. The pesticide house fogger. Picture a Sunday afternoon in suburban Ohio, 1957. Dad's in the garage. He pulls out a pressurized metal can the size of a fire extinguisher, carries it into the living room, pulls the pin, and walks out. The whole house fills with a cloud of chlordane or lindane, broad-spectrum pesticides meant to kill roaches and ants. The family came back an hour later. The dog walked in first. These foggers were sold at hardware stores next to the lawn seed. No mask required. No ventilation instructions. The can said shake well and stand back. Chlordane was banned in 1988. Lindane followed. But for a generation of American homes, those chemicals soaked into the carpets, the curtains, the walls. Some of the houses are still standing. Number 4. Switchblade combs. Here's where it gets cultural. The switchblade knife was the symbol of 1950s teenage rebellion, West Side Story, James Dean, every diner parking lot from Trenton to Tucson. You could buy them openly. Hardware stores, Army surplus, sometimes the five and dime. Congress passed the Federal Switchblade Act in 1958, making it illegal to sell or ship them across state lines. But before that, they were just knives. The switchblade comb came after, a harmless imitation that looked identical when closed. Some states still ban them because cops can't tell the difference at a traffic stop. A piece of nostalgia that became a legal gray zone. The 1950s had a complicated relationship with danger. Number 3. The early microwave oven. The Raytheon Raider range. 1955. 6 feet tall, 750 pounds. Leaked radiation the way a garden hose leaks water. Early models had no shielding standards. The door seals were primitive. There were documented cases of workers near prototype units developing cataracts because the microwave radiation cooked the lens of the eye, slowly, without any sensation of heat. Think about that. A device that could damage you without you feeling a thing. Safety standards arrived in 1971. But the decade before that, these machines existed in commercial kitchens, on Navy ships, in test homes, and the people standing next to them trusted the word of engineers who were still figuring it out in real time. Number 2. Mercury teething powder. Stitz teething powder. Dr. Moffat's Teethina. Sold over the counter. Given to infants. Active ingredient, calomel, mercury chloride. Through the 1940s and into the early 1950s, hundreds of thousands of American babies were given mercury-based powders when their gums ached. The result was a condition called pink disease, acrodynia, peeling skin, severe pain, nerve damage. An estimated 1 in 500 children who took it died. The medical community connected the dots by the mid-1950s. Sales collapsed. The powders disappeared, but the mothers who rubbed that powder onto their babies' gums were following the instructions on the package. They were doing everything right by the standards of their time. That's what makes it so hard to sit with. Number 1. Amphetamine inhalers. Sold over the counter. No prescription. Benzedrine inhalers for nasal congestion. Available at any drugstore, from the 1930s through the 1950s. You didn't even have to break it open to get the drug. The vapor alone was enough. But teenagers figured out you could crack the inhaler apart, pull out the medicated strip and eat it. College students did it before exams. Truck drivers did it on long hauls. Soldiers were given Benzedrine tablets officially during World War II, and when they came home, the habit came with them. The FDA tightened restrictions progressively through the 1950s. By 1959, the formula changed. But for 20 years, American amphetamine sat on the shelf next to the aspirin. These aren't ancient relics. They're our history. 50 years ago. One lifetime. Some of these people are still alive. If this made you think about your own family, drop in the comments which of these did your family use. I'd love to know. Subscribe for more deep dives into forgotten history. The next one goes even deeper.